Hello everyone, this is Cookies, and we just had a new turn roll, so I thought I would go ahead and log in. It looks like I'm the first one to log in as well as Sauromatia's AI. It's turn 49, and not a lot of action this turn, so it could be pretty short. Get a messenger from Hinnom. I'm claiming my third throne this turn. It will help fix my death scale, but it also puts me ahead of the pack and people might notice. Leaving the one near Xibalba unclaimed waiting for the rush. Looks like Fomoria got beat up last turn, so walking through Marverni to take it should be easy. I also need to move quick before Mekone gets there. A plan comes together. Alright. I think it'd be really fun if this works. I'm looking forward to seeing if it works out at all or not. Alright. And we do see the Lilot has claimed the Throne of the Moon. Alright, and we do have a very small number of battles this turn. Mekone goes ahead and pushes past, so Mekone is at war. This is what is left of his victorious army. He has a sylph. He's got a number of Victromos and hoplites, a number of mages that were doing some evocations, a couple of Cryptes thugs, the Storm Drakes and Mechanical Men, and it's just one PD, so I don't think we need to watch that. No, Mekone doesn't lose anything to friendly fire. Sauromatia, let's see, AI Sauromatia attacks Jaburnia, which is a Hinnom province. We've got a warrior sorceress and a few lancers. They're going to run into some unblessed Jade Maidens. Pretty expensive unit to trade into lancers. But it looks like they traded somewhat favorably. Even unblessed, they do have the Berserker part of his bless. Okay. So, as a reminder, the Hinnom Bless right here. So we've got Berserker and then we've got Vampiric Weapons. The precision is from the throne he just claimed. We have a Berytos Blood Hunter under attack. Sorry, that was my phone alarm going off. And it looks like the peasants have actually managed to get past the Beryton Elite Soldier and kill the mage. Okay. So, loses a Beryton Priest there, that's 200 gold, along with the Elite Soldier. Some Freethinkers have been banned in my Omniscience province, and some Troglodytes coming down on Pranda. There's a lot of Trogs. Mostly against... What is this? This looks like Fort PD. And a fair amount of it, too. The mage gets away. Yeah, I mean, this was definitely a fair amount of PD. Where was that? This is on the throne. So wipes out the PD. And it's up at 57 unrest. So this might have been some blood hunt patrolling using flyers. I mean, the province does have Misfortune 5. So, yeah, something like this should kind of be expected. So he'll have to take care of these Trogs. But other than that, Xibalba is just continuing to roll around with Misfortune 3 across the board. But generally speaking, is just continuing to scale his blood hunting. So I guess the last piece is Iron Peaks is still not under siege, but the Dustwalkers have moved up into Sauromatia. They're staying away from border provinces. Xibalba's scouts are pretty cheap, though. I imagine he might have some vision on this. 60 gold. Okay, maybe they're not so cheap. But Batop are stealthy, so... And probably, I'm sure somewhere has maybe a recruitable scout. But yeah, trying to take Raphabolia. Should be pretty soon. This army is still, in terms of stopping a throne rush, is horrendously out of position. We've got a pile of elder druids here. But if he does go for this throne, all this stuff could go for the Throne of the Moon. Okay. And I really hope Marverni is not relying on a nap, because I remember in False Pretenders, Stonetroll did break a nap in that. Granted, it was to try and check the power of a out-of-control Calum, but the nap was still broken. So, yeah. So we see a growing garrison in Grey Barrier. And then a whole bunch of troops kind of showing up along the border here. I imagine he might take Raphabolia and then attack. We'll see. There's no fort up yet on the Throne of Death. All this stuff has moved away. If he's got a third Holy 3... Is there even a fort being constructed here? There's not even a fort being constructed. Who got assassinated here? Okay, so Mekone is assassinating. Let's go ahead and check these out, since I actually managed to catch him. 2 nature gems. 2 main goshes. Okay. Then we have a second assassination on the spider. 2 main goshes again. Okay. And then we've got Stonetroll, the commander, with a bunch of Helot Peltus moving in. Looks like there's 1 commander. Okay. The Shade Breeze is easily taken care of, and the small ones were needed magical leadership. Okay. I am curious if there's been other assassinations now. You see the Berytos army has moved down to Hyperbochi. Now the real question is it going to go through Black Alps to attack Helheim, or is it going to go through Green Marshes? Interesting. But it doesn't look like there's a lot of raiding groups coming down with this army. Maybe they'll break off from the main army. But it could just be just a main army stack. I do think you want raiding groups if you're going to fight elves. But we'll see. Helheim almost has TNG. It's cracked. He did not ping or storm this turn, so maybe it wasn't cracked last turn. Or maybe Helheim had a kind of like soft stale. The player's been sick for about the last week or so. Really kind of knocked out with a pretty bad fever. Boost stone, that's cool. Alright. Just kind of poking around, taking a look at what might be up for grabs. There's a few pretty nice provinces here. Nice. I think it's still mainly, I mean, the Citadel is really nice. 5 gems, bunch of gold, and mundane score graphs. And that's pretty nice. And TNG's cap, potentially, which has 6 gems. And boosts astral range. Okay. Helheim is a lot of death income. And there's a few gem-rich provinces nearby. We haven't seen really mobilize yet. So I'm wondering if, like, when it's going to be go time for but a lot of his stuff is, at least for these few armies, it's either 1 or 2 provinces away, so you can't just move down and attack. Interesting. I mean, I think there's definitely a window here where Hinnom can pull off this rush. It might get a little obvious if he just runs over Gilgad, but if there's a big army of Dustwalkers sieging down Gilgad, I think that would be a difference. So, yeah, I think this can work, especially if there's no fort going up on Dragon Scale. The other piece is he would need a 3rd Holy 3. Or, well, not necessarily. Because on the turn that he goes to Storm, or no, he would claim this the turn he cracks this, and then he would fly over as he storms it so he could claim it. So he might only need 2, especially with a flying Holy 3 who's stealthy. This is going to be very fun. Because right now, a lot of the other players are focused on Helheim and potentially Mekone. You got Mekone beating up Fomoria. But maybe is about to attack Mekone. But these players are going to be busy. The main Berytos army is now out of position to stop a throne rush, but there's a large army here. But it's mostly just patrol chaff. Although I think Shed could get there pretty quickly. And there is a Melkart here. Brides in Waiting could magic phase, so I think Berytos could come up with a reasonably strong army. And he is the research leader, so if anyone could, it would be Berytos. Marverni is pretty out of position. He would only be in position to try and stop this, but yeah, this fort's being upgraded too. But I don't even upgraded fort for this. I think all these boars would crack it pretty quickly. But it could be very difficult for the boars to take the fort from Hinnom if Hinnom's defending the gate. Unless there's a large communion ready to take advantage. Now the Trinity that Marverni has, I think could give Hinnom some issues. But Hinnom does come with built-in magic weapons, a pretty nice bless. The Trinity is fully geared, but the mist form that they've been relying on wouldn't really help there. Body Ethereal wouldn't help a lot. So maybe Rephite Warriors could trade into it. Okay. Yeah, this is super interesting to me. And Xibalba's scaling and moving away towards Helheim because he was planning to invade Helheim. So there's only a token amount of stuff here. We got 10 sun guides. Not even building a fort here yet. I mean, this could work. The diplomacy is just kind of working out that this could actually work for Hinnom. Let's go ahead and take a look at the graphs. Hinnom is first, but all the unrest is affecting his income. Xibalba's second, is third, Mekone is fourth, and Helheim is fifth. For forts, we've got Berytos now tied with Hinnom. So after leading for pretty much the entire game, Berytos now has a competitor on fort count. For income, it's way out in front, followed by Berytos, followed by Hinnom, Xibalba, Helheim, Mekone, and Fomoria. For gem income, we've got way out in front, followed by Xibalba and Berytos. Another big jump. I'll have to see if maybe those were sites or events. It's kind of hard to tell. For blood income, we see a big jump by Berytos this turn and a drop by Xibalba. So Berytos hitting new highs for blood income. Research, Berytos is way out in front. I am curious. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just over 12 bars. So I think Berytos has, I don't know, 30 or 40% more research than everyone else in the game. On Dominion, we've got followed by Hinnom. For army size, we have way ahead of Berytos. And then Xibalba and Hinnom further down. So these are kind of like the four big armies. We can see the drop from Fomoria and from Mekone from their kind of like big battles recently. All right. And yeah, so, this is fascinating to me. Like, this is shaping up so nicely for Hinnom. And it looks like the timing, if he times it right, all these nations could have just gotten into war and be attacking each other, and then Hinnom's gonna go for his throne rush on in particular, the Throne of Death and the Throne of Dreams. And then all he has to do is maybe add some more garrison to the Gray Barrier. I mean, he's got a bunch more stuff in Hinnom, so you could rotate this stuff up pretty quickly to Gray Barrier. That'd probably be a good idea. And then he probably needs a bigger garrison in Nilmeria in case Berytos tries to stop him. I think two key players for trying to stop this. It's going to be Berytos and it's going to be Xibalba. Xibalba's got flyers. Berytos happens to have stuff near the thrones that Hinnom needs. I think Marverni's a little out of position unless his Trinity can tank Rephites, which is difficult, and I haven't tested it. And there's also Melkarts potentially with the Hinnom army. But otherwise, we'd have to see maybe like Gateway come out of Marverni and a bunch of stuff teleporting up, but there's no lab here right now. There is a druid here. It might be adding a lab. The palisades are being upgraded, which could matter to Hinnom. Right now it's only 200 wall integrity. Could be... It'll definitely take a fair amount more siege strength. I think I think my biggest concern for this for Hinnom is, does he have enough stuff to properly garrison all these thrones and defend them, and enough stuff to take the 2 thrones he needs? And I'm not sure about that. Dustwalkers are good. But if he's moving on Sitha and Marverni moves on Grey Barrier, how do you defend Grey Barrier? And then if Marverni manages to piece it together and sounds the alarm, can you protect Nilmeria from Berytos? And could your army also fend off this Berytos army with a bunch of magic phase stuff? That's a lot of sites. Holy moly. Alright. And then for do we see any new sites? I'm wondering. Alright, we got a Well of Pestilence there. Hidden gold mine. Cave of the Pale Ones. We got ghouls. Just so much, so many sites. He's done such a good job site searching. I don't see anything too crazy aside from the stuff that we already know about, which is the Circle Masters and the Garnets. Maybe he's done some searching down here. Glowing Caverns is nice. So that's 5 gems plus 2 more. All right. So continuing to amass more gems. All right. I can definitely see this game going later if this Throne Rush fails, but if it works, that's also going to be pretty crazy. All right, but I've kind of been talking about this a lot, so I'll go ahead and cut it off here since I'm just kind of thinking about it and how people might react, how people might interact with this stuff. Here's a list of the globals. So, but yeah, we'll have to see how it works out when Stonetroll decides to pull the trigger. That Marverni fort is getting upgraded. And we'll have to see if any of the players put it together and react. Or if they just decide, hey, maybe Hinnom's too big because they're invading Marverni right now. Or what they decide to do. So we'll just have to wait and see. And so I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.